around.
Hello. Welcome back.
Take 2.
Yeah, we have this issue with the Wi-Fi. Now it's showing all the bars here, but when we're here, we were doing better for a while. There was a time where it kept cutting out. So we're hoping that this will continue to flow. But if it does cut out, we will restart the video.
Yes.
So we apologize for the misconnection there. But we had our first card, which was Union.
Yep. So this was Union, and talking about like being your authentic self, and then also, right, like when you are your authentic self, you attract the right people to be for the partners and relationships. And we just pulled the second card, but
before we didn't get
to we didn't get to talk about it, and bada bing, bada boom. Relationships. So we're using 3 different decks: the Soul's Journey, the Sacred Geometry of Relationships, and the Green Witch's Oracle, 2 that we hadn't used before. And I had said, I wonder what the theme is going to be. And then already on like card 2, we've got the theme. Yeah. So this one says, relationships, I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. And that is so important, right? And so when you are being your true authentic self, those are the people that you are attracting, right? The ones who are for your highest and best. When you are, you know, just trying to make everybody else happy and kind of people please and like keep the peace, right? Those people are not always for your highest and best.
They tend to take advantage, right? That's not a two-way street.
No, not at all. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
All right, we've got, cup of tea. Yes, I know. And so this next one is cup of tea, and we have the tea leaf readings going tomorrow. So cup of tea, patience and reassessment. And like immediately the word reassessment pops in my brain, or like sticks in my brain, because, you know, we're talking about being our authentic self, so you attract the right people. And, you know, one of the things I had said before we cut out was about sometimes you don't even know, right? Like what you need, because you had said about attracting the right partner. And so I guess that maybe this is just, you know, for people to take a moment and to reassess, right? Like,
the thing I keep getting is like,
we're
back. We were waiting patiently, hoping it wouldn't do that again. So we were just talking about this. I'll show the card. And you were saying about being authentic and, you know, what you attract. Well, and that reassessment time, ask yourself, is this my cup of tea? Right? Because, you know, some, they don't taste that good, right?
No.
You know, like, it's got to be your cup of tea. So reassess what speaks to you, what works for you, what is nice. So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes you're just sipping it, and you might not even like it. And you're like, wait, I don't even like this tea, right? So it's time to like sometimes think about it. You have time to make those choices. Hi, Tabia.
The other word that's on here is patience too. And so, you know, when you decide something is not your cup of tea, and but sometimes we just keep doing it just because that's what we know, right? But so just a reminder to have patience for, you know, what it is that you do want and what is for you, because it doesn't always happen instantaneously, right?
Make that space.
And like not settling. Don't be settling.
Exactly.
Hi, Ellie. All right.
Oh,
Ellie would like a card, and Lori.
Hi, Lori.
And Sarah. I don't know if this is the same Sarah. All right, Ellie. Here's one for you. Whoop. Ooh, transparency. The energy of transparency supports our expansion towards a higher vibrational state of being, with more insight, honesty, and clarity. And I feel like maybe this is just confirmation really for Ellie, because I feel like, you know, we were just talking about being your authentic self, and I feel like Ellie, you are.
Yeah, she is.
You know, pretty much your authentic self. And in here, this doesn't talk about expansion, but I just feel when you are your authentic self, right, the expansion comes easier.
It does,
and this talks about clarity, and it's so easy to see what you should be doing or what is for you when you are your authentic self, versus pretending, you know, or settling to be something else.
Right. Yeah, because, you know, I mean, transparency literally is, you know, being able to see through. And so, you know, you're not putting all those like veils over you, or you're not putting all those shields where people can't see behind. You know, people can see the authenticity. That's beautiful. I like these cards.
I do too. Hi, Don.
Hello.
Oh, okay. This is funny. I was just still thinking about Allie, but our next card is purpose. I know what I'm here to do. And I feel like, Allie, they, definitely go together for you, that you already are, I feel like, being your authentic self. And I do feel like you know what you're here to do, and you're doing it. And just, a reminder to have patience. If it's not going as fast as you want it to go, it's coming.
Right.
It's coming.
And
it's here already, I feel like.
It is here, but I feel like sometimes, like, we need pivots. We're doing it, but we're maybe not in, like, the environment might need a little change to get the most out for us, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Hi, Sharon. Ooh, oh gosh. Okay. I instantly thought snake when I saw this, and I'm terrified of snakes, but it's just earthworm.
Okay.
And clarity and rumination, which is really interesting, because to me, clarity and rumination are like completely opposite, right? But I'm going to go with like the first thing that like popped into my head about the snake, and I don't know if earthworm means transformation or not.
It can, yeah.
Yeah. And, the transformation comes when you start gaining clarity.
Yeah.
And also, I like this card. I haven't shown it yet, but like there's a part of it that's under the dirt.
Yes.
Right? And so sometimes we can't see the transformation that's happening. We can't see the changes that are happening when we're working on them and when we're doing it. So, but it matters, right? Each little thing that you do matters.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So it's like wrapping around a crystal too, which I'm holding my crystal that I've been playing with all day. And it's the earthworms, they transform the dirt, they aerate it and do all, all the stuff to it. So it's, that rootedness, that groundedness, like sometimes you gotta dig through the dirt to, find your way. And, the clarity, like that to me feels like the word rumination, like that movement and that, doing that, and then, you're clearing the soil. So it's a very neat card. I like that a lot. I had a dream about inchworms last night. Not the night before. Inchworms. And they were all over. And then there was very, very big ones, and they were like, they had like smiley faces on them, and they were huge, and they were in a crate, and I'm like, they were all over. I'm like, what?
Interesting.
I couldn't figure out what that means, but it wasn't scary at all. They were cute, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Haven't seen
you have
any.
some, I don't know, just from our card, there's some transformation coming up.
Yeah. Kind of digging the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some transformation coming up, definitely for this girl over here.
I guess so.
Because our next card is transformation.
And
so yeah, we're using these 2 new decks and 1 old deck, and the theme relationships, being your authentic self, and transformation. So yeah, the energy of transformation supports our ability to gracefully flow through times of transformation, allowing the old to make room for the new. So thinking about that too, and remember that when you do have a transformation, right, sometimes that means you have to let go of some things that you already have. And sometimes we maybe like them a little. Like maybe we don't love them, but we're just not ready to give it up. But we do need to give up some things sometimes to make space for the new things coming in.
Great. I love that. Yes. So yeah, I feel like we're kind of always in a bit of a transformation here, like trying to evolve to be even the better version of ourselves. So I feel like that's right where we're at right now.
Yeah.
It's great.
I don't know why this just popped in my head. Should I say this?
What?
I do. Do you think you'll ever get married again?
No.
I don't know why I was like, Duffy. I don't know.
No, we both have like no weddings, but.
Okay.
But, no, Duffy's off his own, but I feel like that becomes like a contract, right?
Yeah.
And then, like people, I feel like they don't have, it becomes like, sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not for everyone,
just like popped in.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, next one is self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And to me, this really speaks to the first card that we talked about, like about being your authentic self, right? And sometimes we don't have the self-esteem, the confidence in order to be our authentic selves.
Right.
And so I feel like this card is a reminder for anybody who's watching right now to just have a little confidence in who they are and what they believe
and what you
in.
deserve.
Yeah,
I feel
right.
like that's huge. Like knowing your worth,
Absolutely.
right? And knowing like you deserve, to have someone who is, taking care and being true to you, and all those things are really important. So, and when you're not authentic, if you're people pleasing and stuff like that, then sometimes you're getting people who are again taking advantage.
Yeah. And not
And
good,
you
right?
and you don't see your worth. You just kind of get caught in that cycle.
Ooh, mortar and pestle. Interesting. Integration, subtlety, and thoroughness. So like this just instantly the integration, but like just the mixing, the weaving of things together. And I know that this definitely was a problem for me for a long time, but so maybe for somebody else watching too, that I have all these common interests, right? And it's like, how do you put them all together? Yeah. And I definitely feel like now mine are just starting to come
it's
together.
a good feeling.
So this to me is a reminder too that you don't always just have to choose one thing. Right? Like there is a way for them to work together. And even if you can't see it in the moment, right? Sometimes like, I don't know.
But when you blend them and you kind of grind it, then they do mix together and they create something new, and they, like flavors blend and things like that. So
like
our interests and then when we put them all together, we do more than each individual one. It's combined. It's amazing. So I love that. I think that's, I feel like the more people do that, you find so much more about yourself
and that's also, I feel like what makes people unique,
it is,
right? It's the way they blend their different interests together, their different things together.
I think even like going back to relationships, I think that, that's the mix of, putting all the parts in and coming up with this unique blend too.
Yeah. Brand new,
They're pretty.
Ooh, time. The energy of time supports our understanding of the relativity of time and our capacity to be present in the moment. I feel like that was a mouthful, but
I was thinking that.
But what pops into my head is about the ability to be in the present moment, and I feel like the more we're in the present moment, honestly, the more time we have. Because, when we're thinking about like, I should have done that, or like, I got to do ABC, XYZ, like you're taking away from the present moment just right then. Right. And it, somehow it just seems like more time is available.
It is. We actually talked about this in one of the soul cafes, and it was so fascinating. It really is. We do have a lot more control of time than we realize. And in one hand, time isn't real. We make these constructs of it. But so when you learn to work within time and, like you said, be in the present, you really do get more time.
And I also feel like we use time as an excuse, right? Like I don't have enough time, and the reality is if we were just in the present moment and if we want to achieve something, like sometimes we got to give up that Netflix series or something in order to make it happen.
That's
so
true.
Acceptance. I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. When you do this, your life just becomes 1,000,000% better.
It's like our book club, last book club, let them, right? That's pretty much like, okay, I'm just gonna let it be, and not take away your peace.
Right. And sometimes, I feel like people are like, no, I can't accept that. I can't accept that. That doesn't make the thing right.
No,
right?
No.
At all.
Not at all.
It just takes away all of the emotion about it, right? And then once you just accept, like, okay, this is the situation, then you can go on to step 2, which is like, what am I going to do about it?
Right. Yeah. But you can't move on. People get stuck.
Yes.
In the I can't accept it.
No.
And they don't get past that.
No. And how can I change it? What can I do differently? And sometimes there isn't. There just isn't anything.
It just sometimes is what it is. Right. Yep.
Earth, peace, and grounding. So this may be another one of our themes.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of like with the peace and the grounding, to me, that goes with being in the present moment,
Yeah,
right? Because if you are not in the present moment, you are definitely not grounded. The other thing with this card being the Earth card, I feel like just being out in nature helps ground you, right?
much.
So if you have a little bit of anxiety or whatever, and you're like, I don't know, I can't calm down, just go outside, right? And if you're still not calm, stay out there longer.
Right.
Hug a tree.
Sit under a tree.
Yeah.
Lay in the grass.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful picture too. I've been really studying the tree of life, so that really resonates with me right now.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And I like, there's a dove.
Yeah.
A dove at the top, and dove is like, peace. So when you are grounded, you just, you just have peace within your body.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't know.
And the moon cycles too, like living in
yes.
in the cycles, accepting that.
Very nice. There's a lot on this card, actually. If we, we can probably dive into that for a whole hour. Ooh, tenderness. I'm just going to show this one. Yeah, it's such a beautiful color. And tenderness, it feels like to me to be like as soft with yourself as you are with everybody else. Like give yourself as much grace as you do to everybody else, because we tend to, I don't know, I feel like I don't know if it's making excuses for other people, but like we seem to forgive other people so much easier than ourselves, right? Yeah. And this to me is a reminder of like, give yourself that same grace. Like I was definitely guilty. I'm much better about like beating myself up if I just wasn't doing everything perfect and at the right moment.
Yeah. I think you grow into that, being able to let some of that go, don't you think? But,
I do.
But if we taught this younger, think of where our kids would be if we were encouraging that at a young age. I think it's important.
Yeah, I'm going to share this. Of course, my daughter would probably be mad, but she, just flew home from Indianapolis, and she was supposed to board her flight at 5:50 a.m. and or was leaving, and she called me at like 6 something and like crying, and she missed her flight. Oh, no. And the first thing I said was like, "I'm not mad. Like, are you okay? Like, yes, I'm not mad." And I said, call the airline and then get to the airport. And then she was, called me when she got her ticket changed and everything. She's on her way. She didn't have to leave for like 3 hours. And she was still on the way to the airport. I said, well, why don't you turn around? Yeah. And she's like, no. She's like, I did this to myself. I go, you don't have to punish yourself. No. You didn't do anything. Like, you made a mistake. It's okay. Right? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. I feel like, I don't know, we need to teach people. Okay, kids, right? Get excited about adversity. Yes. I don't know.
No, because honestly, the most learning I've ever done has been things that were hard to deal with, like 100%. Bosses and people in my life that I've learned to be the better version of myself through what they've taught me. So I wouldn't say no to any of that. Yes. Like, the challenges are the teachers, and you learn about what you're capable of. I would never know what I'm capable of had I not had to go through all I've gone
absolutely
through.
Not.
And so I'm a stronger person, and I thank my challenges. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it needs to be taught more too, that it's okay to not know the answer. Like, it's okay for things to be difficult. Right. Like I'm a teacher also, and I see a lot of students who just sometimes like are struggling. They're like, this is really hard. And like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to do hard things, right? No, right? Yep. Yeah. In my case, it's just Spanish. Like, you're going to get through. And just to really, stick with it, and like that sense of accomplishment that you have when you overcome something. Like, when somebody just comes in and does something difficult for you, you feel nothing. Right. You feel nothing, right? Like, maybe grateful, but
right. But no, so much comes out of it. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Definitely the grounding. Yeah. Now we have another card, roots, healthy patterns, early growth. I'm just like kind of thinking the conversation that we just had about like teaching people to, face adversity, and it's okay to have, challenges. And to me, like the earlier we can teach that too, right? It does develop healthy patterns.
It does. You're rooting, if you're teaching your kids this, you're making that foundation so solid. You're anchoring them with stuff that is going to support them for life.
Yes, right? Important. And like, if you teach them when they're young too, to, that it's okay to do hard things and things are going to be difficult, then as they get old, it's like building resilience.
It is.
Right?
It really is.
And if you don't, like build those foundations early, it's much harder to develop later.
Undo. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's beautiful. Wow.
I know these
are fun.
What are these cards?
And look at it looks like little worms and different things. Like some skulls, and it's beautiful.
This is a really nice
oracle deck. I love it.
I know. I'm gonna just show this again because again, this is a new one, and it's really, I mean, like I said, each picture, if we like kind of dove into the different parts of the picture, we could really talk a lot about these cards. Oh, then this is one of my favorites also, surrender. Surrender.
That bird. Yep.
You don't have control, people.
No. As soon as you know
limited, right? Yes. And surrender, like the analogy that I always like to use, I feel like this comes up a lot in some of my readings, is about like people holding onto the reins of a horse, right? Like they're holding so tight, and like every little like movement, like the horse is jerking and they're going all over the place. But if you just like relax and kind of loosen up the reins, right? Like loosen up your grip on whatever it is you're trying to do, everything is just easier. Everything's easier.
So true. And there with that it's like giving that trust, right? It's hard. We don't want to give that up, but it goes hand in hand with that trust and allow.
Yes. And I think that's super important too, right? And trusting, and especially when we're trying to achieve something or get something, if it's not showing up right away, we're like, what are we doing wrong? What do I need to do different? What else do I need to do? I need to do more and more and more. And that's not always the case, right?
Sometimes letting go of that outcome, just saying, I ask for the best, and then it just happens.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh, discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Yes. And I think that's interesting that followed after surrender, because I feel like part of the discipline is, you do what you need to do along the way, and then you have to do exactly what you just said. You just have to trust, right? That what you did is working. And then have the discipline if it's not. Right? But it can't be instant. Like you gotta give things some time.
Exactly.
The other thing that I always like to talk about with the discipline one too is about motivation, because there's such a difference between motivation and discipline, right? Like I feel like just throw motivation out the window, because you're not always going to feel like it, right? Discipline is how it happens, friends.
It's like, it's something, teach yourself that, and it will make you motivated through the discipline. The discipline can motivate. Right. So sometimes I feel like, discipline comes first.
Absolutely. Ooh, summer, yay, expansion and growth.
Oh, I love that.
And that is so perfect too, right? Because right now we're in spring, and spring everything is just blooming, and then summer is like where everything flourishes. And if you live here in Buffalo, I feel like physically we flourish too, because we have the sunshine. And I don't know, I feel like I'm solar powered when the sun is out, then I'm just in a good mood. I'm happy. I have more energy, right?
And the bee.
Oh,
I love the bees. They're my favorite. So very fertile and very,
Yes, the pollinators.
Yes. I feel like it's going to be a good, expansive summer. I'm feeling that. So,
What number are we in numerology? Is it 8 or 9?
We're in a 9.
And a 9. Isn't that like an expansion?
Well, that's like it's like the letting go before the newness for next year. But I feel like that's very, to me, it's like endings and stuff, but those can be very expansive. Yeah. I love that. And I love sunflowers.
I do too.
I want to plant them here, but I'm thinking the deer might eat them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That would be nice.
I didn't know that they don't just come back naturally every year.
No, you gotta plant them.
Strength. The frequency of strength supports our ability to harmonize all our qualities and skills toward a strong and balanced way of being. Strength, that first thing that pops into my head is about, I feel like we tend to have more strength than we give ourselves credit for, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like how? And you don't have to know the how, right?
No.
You just have to do.
Yeah.
You just have to do, even if you don't know exactly what. Oh,
And we're back. Buffering again. Yeah, so we're just talking about this card and the harmony that really stuck out, to harmonize all.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I feel like with strength too is to don't be afraid to ask people for help. Right? Because that takes a really strong person to ask for help, because we're like, no, I got it. In the meantime, like, you're practically dying, right? And you can like barely move. But it does take a lot of strength, and it's not weakness, right?
No, not
Asking
at
for
all.
help is not
Not at
weakness in any way, shape, or form.
And actually, the more you do it, it does get easier, and then you do feel like you become a stronger person. You feel better.
Yeah. Failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Yes, I love that. What was that
back
other
to
one?
like diversity too.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So I feel like a couple of themes. You know, we've had the relationship being authentic, and transformation, and part of the transformation sometimes comes from failure. Right?
Yeah. But I feel like there are no real failures, because I feel like you learn something from that where you wouldn't have otherwise, and so you come on the other side of it, and you're going to be in a better position.
Yeah.
So I think they're teachers.
100%. And with that, I feel like knowing that that's how I believe, there's no wrong choices.
No.
Right? There's just like the best choice in the moment that you that you can make with what you know. And then, sometimes you're like, wow, this is amazing. And sometimes you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Right? And it's not a failure. You just really learned like what you don't want or what you don't like. And then you can pivot into something else.
There's always a new choice. Like people
right?
so down, like they feel like they're stuck.
Yes.
But you don't have to be.
Yeah, I like that. There is always a new choice,
always
right?
A new choice.
Salt. Protection, banishing negativity. Okay, this is, I don't know. After coming out of failure, I feel like, sometimes when we fail, depending on what it is, right? We might need to feel like we need to cocoon or something and protect ourselves. But also with this kind of, okay, yes, I know, we're back. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was saying. No, but anyway, this is making me think back at the beginning about being your authentic self too, right? Even though this is, I feel like, really used for, salt and protecting your energy, but I feel like sometimes we don't show our authentic selves to the rest of the world because we think we're trying to protect ourselves, right?
That's a good point,
and maybe you just need some salt instead, right? Some of what are the black crystals?
Black tourmaline.
Yeah.
To me, it's my tattoo there too.
Oh yeah,
so it's the same thing. But as far as protection and banishing negativity, like something we hear a lot, people come here and they have this idea that something negative is attached to them, or they have, like, oh, I'm having all these bad things. There's negativity around me, and that in itself is creating negativity because you believe that there is. Yeah. So I think sometimes we just have to, like, if you got to use a ritual or something, do a cleansing, do something so that you feel clear. And really, it's more of a mental thing than anything. Because we hear this all the time, and they don't have anything negative. It's just, someone might have told them that or put that into their mind, and then they get worried about it, and then the worry that creates more. So it's really a mindset.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Soul. Ooh, I like this. The energy of soul activates our connection to the part of us that is closer to the higher realms, God or the divine. And instantly to me, like when you, I don't even know how I want to say this, but like, it's about being your authentic self. Your soul is like really who you are, right? Like, this is just the suit. I just have this long hair, right? These are the things that identify me.
Right.
But like, your soul is just you.
Right.
I don't know how else to say that.
And I feel like, you know, like the soul is eternal. And when you live from your soul, like, so a soul-centric life as opposed to like an egocentric life, right? You are closer to all the higher realms because they're in that authenticity. That is, you know, there's ease.
Yes.
You're not trying to do something that, you know, be anything other than who you are.
Yeah.
So,
and it does like take a lot of energy to hide who you are, right? And to like, it takes a lot of energy to be somebody else.
It does.
Feels like
it does, and it's not fun.
No, it's exhausting.
It is,
right? And so like, if you're exhausted all the time, it might be that you are not being authentic. Honestly,
I agree, and not getting what you actually need, or telling people, or, you know, asking for things. And so I see that a lot with people where, you know, they're unhappy, or they're overwhelmed, and because they're not doing what they need to do for themselves.
Yes, 100%. Ooh, death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. Definitely, this is one of our themes of the day, right? Like, we've had transformation a few different times in relationships, and we talked already about, you know, sometimes you have to get rid of something or let something go in order to make space for the new thing, right? Because there's only we only have so much space.
Right. You got to empty the cup to refill it.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. And so, and death, like, people always get afraid of the death card, like in the tarot, but it really is about that transformation. It's about the rebirth of what comes new. Because it's never about, it's never just an ending. There's always something new that comes from it. Right. So I think sometimes that's the best card you can get. Yes. Because it means that all the stuff that doesn't belong to you is going. Yes. And all the new stuff is ready to come. So
yeah, you're right. People do freak out a little bit at the word, like, oh my god, yeah. Fog, obscurity, and feeling lost. Oh yeah, I feel like there's many people in this world walking around in a fog, right? And a lot of that I feel like is because you're not living the soul-centered life. You probably can't see that card, but
reminded me of the card back this way, the transparency too.
Yes.
You know, like getting to that point where you don't have to put that fog, be in the fog. You can be clear. You can, you know.
Yeah. 100%.
I feel like, again, that's a lot of self-imposed, you know.
100%.
Or, you know, the surroundings you have, the people, you know, negative people or negative situations, places, work. When you have to maneuver through that, that's a struggle.
It is.
It's not easy.
It is, yeah. But I'm also kind of chuckling to myself because, like, if you're in perimenopause, that's a whole different conversation.
It's a whole brain fog.
Sometimes you get the brain fog with that, right?
That's another conversation for another day. May 24th. We're having our Dr. Judy Coggins will be back, and we can have a talk about that.
Yes. Ooh, sensuality. Okay. Spirits. Okay, with this, that is spirits in human bodies. We are sensual. Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce this. Sensual beings, and experiencing joy and pleasure from the physical world. And so, I mean, there's many different ways, obviously, that you can talk about sensuality. But the first thing, because it mentioned joy and pleasure, is I'm always talking about the healing power of pleasure, right? So many times it comes up in readings about, like, you have mastered and nailed the responsibility part of your life, but you have a ways to go in, like, enjoying and taking pleasure in things.
Yeah, right. And why is it such a struggle for people?
I don't know.
Like, they don't feel they deserve it, or you know that I'm having fun and I'm enjoying something, so it means someone else isn't. Yeah, that's so not true. Yeah, you know, everyone should have joy and pleasure and it's Yeah. And that,
Yeah.
like color wise, you know, that the root chakra and the sacral chakra working together, you know, that anchoring, and that's our creative center too. So with supporting that, you actually can do more. You can create more. So it's really it is a good thing to focus on.
Yeah.
Do you know we have a sensuality?
Oh, do you? Ooh.
It's got those colors. It's a very nice vibe.
Oh.
Yes, it's a good
Yeah. The other thing that I'm thinking about with this card too is the sensuality is also so many people, and you know, I understand this is a survival technique, but are not in their bodies, right?
No,
and so they, you know, it's kind of like when you look down and you're like, holy crap, where did I get that bruise from, right? Because we're not always in our bodies because we're so busy, or sometimes it is a survival pattern. And then, you know, there is that other side of it. Right? Like there's a lot of healing power in that.
Yeah, it's good. Right.
It's good.
And people should be able to talk about that and not be it's all part of life. It's good.
Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. The first thing that popped into my head is when you have indecision, to have patience, right? Because sometimes we are like, I don't know, so we just like pick something. And
right, because they can't wait.
Yes, right. And, you know, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, this is going to be a learning situation, and maybe you'll love it, maybe you won't, but you don't always have to know all the right answers.
Right, and sometimes the choices haven't been presented yet.
Yes.
And so you might miss out on a really good decision or an opportunity because you think you have to decide something right away, and you don't. I see this a lot with like young kids just starting the job field.
I was just
and
going to
they're
say,
like, they take the first one just because they're like, I have to have a job.
Yes.
And it doesn't fit them at all.
Yes.
And and then they feel like they have to stay, and they didn't take a month to look, you know, and say, okay, what's going to suit me?
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you talked about that because we both have kids at that age, and that's exactly what I was going to talk about next. Yeah. Ooh, altar, gratitude and releasing burdens. Oh, I love this. This is such.
I love altars.
These cards are amazing.
I really like them.
Yeah, and gratitude. What's that expression about gratitude? When you're thankful for what you've got, then you'll be given more.
Is that, for sure.
Right?
I live by that. Yes.
I do too. And sometimes I think we forget to appreciate all that we have. And like, even as far as we've come, like I was just thinking this morning, I don't know why I was standing at the sink, but I had my AG1 greens, and I did my Axio, and I did my red light, and then I worked out, which is different. And I came up and I was like so energetic, and I was standing there, I was like, this is amazing. And then thinking like, there was a time I couldn't get off the couch because I just was not well.
Right.
I was not well. And I forget that sometimes when I'm tired after work, or, you know.
Right. But what a contrast to have been through that. But good for you.
So just, you know, I do, you know, but I do have to remind myself to just, you know, be grateful.
Yes. That's not being healthy. That's the hardest, you know, thing.
Oh, sensitivity. Okay. Where's all our empaths out there right now?
Oh,
yeah, I know. And what popped into my head, so I don't know if this is for somebody that's watching, but sometimes people are told they're too sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or like, you're just too much, or like, stop being ridiculous. Like, oh my God, you're crying at that movie again, right? Like,
okay.
Like, it's okay. It really
is a gift. I mean,
it is a gift.
It is. A lot of people don't have those feelings. And
right.
They want that. And they're empty.
Yes, that's such a good point too, because sometimes you ask people, how are you? They have no idea. No idea.
None. No.
Yeah. What do you want to do in the future? They have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
No, I've always been sensitive, so in different ways, not like the crying stuff, but just feeling everything around, you know, energetically.
Yes.
And I'm happy to have that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's, you know, like important about like being in the moment too, because if you are a big feeler, right? Like, remember, it's just in that moment, right?
Yeah.
In 5 minutes, you know, you might not feel the same.
Says she's sensitive, and she'd like to say that.
Yeah.
You are sensitive.
Talia is.
You are. Do you need a card? All right, last card for Talia. Which
You
one's
wanna
going to
pick
be
a
for
card?
Talia?
Okay, Tal.
All right, which one's it? Oh, that
Oh,
one? Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it's what?
This is the one. Trust.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a good one
Yes.
for you.
I accept
Yeah.
that my this is Alicia. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So I want to say two things, right? Like trusting before we were talking about in surrender, and trusting that what we have worked for or what we've been doing is coming our way. But this is such another important lesson about trust, right? Trusting your gut
Yeah.
and your inner voice, and
So true.
right, it won't steer you wrong.
No. I listen to it now. I didn't always, but
Yeah.
and I also listen to Talia. If Talia gives me a little side eye or a little growl, sometimes
Yeah.
with people, I'm like, I'm watching that. She knows.
Yeah,
She does. She can spot anything. So
Yes.
I always trust what Talia tells me.
yeah,
Right? You always know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I forgot. Yeah.
Can you read?
Can we do? Yeah. So we have Alicia and Lori. Lori said she was grateful to catch us live, but
Oh,
Alicia
yay, Lori.
can ask for a card, so we can do.
Oh, sure.
Can we do one more
Yeah,
card
of
for
course.
Alicia?
Yeah.
All right, Alicia. Oh, this is funny. It's time, but it's spelled like the
I love
spice
that.
time. Do you know what the significance of that is?
So
or no?
time's very healing. It's very it's good like good healing powers. So to me that's I love the play on it, but it's also like growth and
Yes.
you know, planting and growing, and then that harvest of the healing powers.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me show you this card, and then it's also got, is that, I don't know, the green.
And that looks like a crystal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It almost looks like peridot.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So Alicia, this feels like to me, you know, Sarah already talked about the time and the healing, but the green is your heart for the heart chakra, right?
Yeah.
So feeling like there is some healing maybe that has to happen. And once that happens, look at those beautiful roots that have taken, right? And then the flowers coming out after the healing happens.
And I feel like this means, you know, as far as like once you're anchored and rooted and grounded, then that healing's going to come through. So it's about like needing those roots to anchor and then do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And then all this new growth that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know why I'm just like wallowing in this card. But after the healing, there is always so much
There's so
growth.
much growth.
Just
Yeah.
speaking from my own experience, like, why did it take me so long to get over that or do this or right, whatever,
Yeah.
and then boom, like stuff starts popping out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sure. I can't wait to see you, Lori. Lori's going to come visit in the summer.
Oh, nice.
Do you know Lori?
I don't think so.
She used to live here, and she actually taught like grief classes here.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and she moved to Florida, and now she's in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah, and
nice.
she comes every summer to visit
Nice.
us. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. Is
All
there one
right.
more?
One, do a final?
Yeah.
Ooh, romantic love. This is definitely about relationships today.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah. Romantic love supports our experience to know ourselves through the reflection of a conscious lover. Yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot you could talk about, but
Yeah.
or we could definitely talk about in this. But I also want to say, you know, this is about relationship with the other, and you definitely are learning a lot, right? This is kind of what this card is talking about. Like you learn a lot about yourselves when you're in relationship. But I feel like you should romantically love yourself.
You should,
right?
To because when you learn that, then you
Yes.
you attract what you need, like the right
Yes.
partner, and then you can both reflect that to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about like what you would when you were first in love, right?
Yes.
And like what you would do, what lengths you would go through to like do things for your partner to make them happy, and like, are you doing that for yourself?
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think and the more you learn and take care of yourself and love yourself, you can love someone else so much more.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like that's the best relationships that I've seen are the people who do
Yes.
the self-care and love themselves.
100%.
It's really
100%.
Yeah. And I get a lot of people like, do you get relationship readings where they're not taking care of themselves and then they're in these bad situations and they're,
Yes.
you know, you try to say, well, take care of you, and the rest is gonna fix itself.
Yes.
But if you leave that essential part out,
Yes.
then what are
Right.
you going to attract? It's so
That's
and
true.
it's so heartbreaking to witness, because you see these wonderful people
Right.
who, they just need to
Yes.
give it to themselves first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
All right. What did Lori say? Can't wait.
Yeah. Like I said,
I look
yeah.
forward to
Yay.
Oh yeah,
I know.
you'll
It'd be great
you'll
meeting you,
love
Lori.
Lori, she's great. Well, thank you all for watching. It's so
Yeah.
hard to read.
That's okay. Thank you. My card resonated a lot. I'm in a growing phase where I just started a new job that is helping me with some. We can't see
Oh,
the rest of
good.
that, but good.
Yeah.
I'm glad, Alicia.
Awesome. Thanks for everyone for watching, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend. And to all the mothers out there,
Yeah.
happy Mother's Day. And stop in and see us, or if you
Yeah.
need a little longer reading with Leslie tomorrow, she'll be here.
Yeah.
And thank you again for watching.
Bye.
Bye.